Hey everyone, welcome back to Tea with Mesha.
Welcome back to Tea with Mesha.
Welcome back to Tea with Mesha. Hey, how y'all doing? Welcome back to Tea with Mesha. Please forgive me, y'all. I am so sorry I did not post on Monday, but I'm back. I'm here. I have to give you a little bit of background. Obviously, this has been a season of me truly being authentic and doing things with intention. I don't ever want to get on here and just post something because I know that it's Monday. I really like to have a goal or something that pleases God. I don't want to just force stuff out. Obviously, we have a Bible that we can gain in any and everything from, so I could just find something and talk about it, but I think that would kind of go against what I say that this is. This is not a teaching. This is me walking you all along my journey and sharing some things that I've been working through. So please know that. For those who are new, welcome to Tea with Mesha. I don't want to say Reformed Christian, but I came from Christ to agnostic, back to Christ, and this is what my walk looks like, trying to understand God holistically and who He is versus the God's lowercase g's that I once served. Yes, I am in a new location. I am in my favorite place in my house, my dining room that I don't eat in. I usually do a lot of my devotionals and prayer time in this room. Because there's a table and I can write, but also because of the lighting and the peace of this room. So yeah, welcome back. Today, I want to talk to you all about surrendering your singleness. My Kingdom Sisters group, first off, I'm being very disrespectful to Tea with Mesha. This is a sweet tangerine tea. Shout out to Lee with some lemon and some agave. And let me tell you something, I'm almost out, but this is some really good tea, y'all. But anyways, this sermon is crazy. This video is about surrendering your singleness to Christ. A couple of weeks ago, my Bible study group and our Kingdom Sisters, we did a surrender fast together, and it was a week long. We fast from like social media and secular music or movies. And some of us did that with like a certain food fast, so maybe the Daniel fast or vegan fast, or just certain foods, certain fried foods, certain sweets or desserts, like just kind of anything with the food to kind of help push that fast to the next step. And we did it based on surrender. We had a devotional every day. It was really nice. Like, I truly enjoyed it. But one of the things I enjoyed most about the surrender fast is what does that actually mean and how we actually feel about it. And so for me, throughout the course of those 7 days, I had to realize that me laying these things down at the altar, laying my worries, my goals, whatever it is, laying them down at the feet of God was more than just giving it to Him for Him to do something with them, but also giving it to Him in case He wanted to get rid of them, and to walk away from, getting up from their position of surrendering and walking away knowing that God has He has His purpose in mind, and His purpose involves me being prosperous. His purpose does not involve me being miserable or disastrous. So if I truly believe that that's what I'm doing when I'm laying it down at His feet, it's very important that I don't walk away with anxiousness or just waiting for my answer, waiting for God to do something with what I want, but truly it says that we are to wait expecting Him to do something, expecting Him to come through, right? And so trusting that if I'm submitting to His will, that me expecting Him to do something can also mean Him doing absolutely nothing with something that I truly desire. So that was like a really big thing. And lately, I hope y'all cannot hear my dog drinking his water because it's very loud. But I did just give him some peanut butter. But anyways, lately I have been trying to walk in this singleness a little bit better. And not necessarily in a sense of not wanting it, but also surrendering that to God. I am single, but I do want somebody around me. I want to cuddle. I want to go on dates. I want to do these things, but I also want to do it the way that God wants me to do it. And if I want that, I truly have to surrender this singleness season to God and wait expectantly for my husband, but not let my life be revolved around who my husband may be, right? With surrendering this relationship thing with God, it's not me saying that like I don't want this thing. It's not me not acknowledging that don't want this thing, but it's me realizing that I can want something, but I have to decide to want God more. And I have to want God's plan more than I want my own plan. Like truly asking myself, like if I put relationships above God, am I telling myself that I love me more than I love God? That I trust me more than I trust God? That I trust my readiness more than I trust God's perspective of my readiness? If that makes sense, like what does God say about me being in this single moment? And how can I honor him in this singleness? And so I have been working on surrendering that to God. I don't think that it's something that we do once and forget about it, but it's something that we do daily, that every day we have to go and lay this thing at the altar. Just like every day we have to come and pick up our cross, that's something we have to do as well, is lay this at the altar. And so as I'm working on that thing, there were 3 things that I came across this morning that I want to share with you all about surrendering to your singleness. For one, realign your expectations of what your spouse is supposed to be with God's word. That was one of the primary things that I really had to think about. What are my expectations of a husband? Is it what I see on social media between other people? Relationships that I see in my personal life with my parents, my aunts and uncles, mentors? What are my expectations of a husband? What does that actually look like? And do they align with God's word? Because one thing I do not want to do is end up in an ungodly relationship trying to apply godly principles and then get upset with God for why the relationship is not working. That's not fair to him or me. That's not fair to anybody in this situation. So instead of trying to jump and force relationships to work, allow God to tell me what a relationship or what a spouse is supposed to look like in my life, and then go from there, apply it from there, right? And so the second thing is to realign my own expectations with who God calls me to be and try to align my characteristics and who I am to who God calls me to be in relationships, right? So our Bible study group just finished all of Proverbs, and we've ended on the very famous chapter, Proverbs 31, of what a wife is supposed to look like. And while we were reading it, it was like, okay, some of these things I get, some of this stuff I am far from. And we end up, asking each other questions, challenging each other of like, what does this mean to you? What did this look like? And we're like, okay, a Proverbs 31 woman is that girl. Like, she does a whole lot of stuff. Like, she's very independent at this point. Like, it's just like, if you actually read it, it's like, I don't know if I want to be a Proverbs 31 woman. But because we were able to read it together and kind of digest it, it was a lot of things like, okay, maybe I can improve in this area and I don't possess this thing, or maybe I can improve in this or I don't possess certain things. Like, it was a really good give and take kind of conversation, and it was very, very, very fulfilling. But it also put in my heart, like, are you really ready for a relationship? Are you really even walking as the woman God is calling you to be? Am I a wife to somebody? And for the men, do you truly think that you're a husband to somebody? What does the Bible say about being a husband to a woman? What does that look like for you? So truly figuring that out, spending time trying to figure that out, and then find you a list. Create a list for yourself. What kind of things that you need to do, right? What kind of things you need to improve on, or anything like that. So we wrote a letter talking to God about the things that we want to possess and areas we wanted to improve on. And it was very beneficial. It's truly, loving, and we shared it with one another, whatever. But I encourage you all to do the same, like lean into that. So before I give y'all the last thing, I want to go to 1 Corinthians 13, and the famous verses about what love is. So starting at verse 4, love is patient and kind. Love is not jealous or boastful or proud or rude. It does not demand its own way. It is not irritable, and it keeps no record of being wronged. It does not rejoice about injustice, but rejoices whenever the truth wins out. Love never gives up, never loses faith, is always hopeful, and endures through every circumstance. This is another thing that I had to look at. In my past relationship, I was a very jealous woman. I won't say very jealous, but I definitely had traits of being jealous, because why did she look at you like that. What does that mean? Like, asking certain questions, feeling certain ways, because I had this jealous spirit sometimes. And it could have been stemmed from my insecurities or things that I never really addressed. But I can possess jealousy. I can be a little bit rude if I'm feeling like somebody trying to play me. Like, let's get to it. What's the point? I'm very human in that regard. I let my flesh win in a lot of areas. I can be very prideful if I feel like somebody's trying to get over on me instead of just being kind. I still possess certain traits that does not align with what love means to God, right? A lot of these things, keeping no record of being wronged. Am I forgiving? Do I forgive people when they hurt me? Or even if it's just something that's small that's just wronging me or yelling at me, like, can I be very forgiving, or do I possess this like trait of keeping record of what people are doing, but then come to God and beg for him to forgive me? Like, what does that truly look like for me? Right? So realigning my expectations of who I am and trying to align my characteristics with who God calls me to be, because that shows up in platonic relationships, in your families, in romantic relationships. So it starts now in your singleness. It's something that we need to appreciate and start to work towards now, right? But lastly, the last thing I will give you all as far as being on this surrender to Christ, after you've realigned your expectations and asked God to reveal some things to you about who you are supposed to be, surrender that all to God. And then lastly, realign your focus with Christ. Period. We are single. We have no responsibilities other than to take care and steward ourselves and whoever else God calls us to, right? But this is our season to maximize this moment, to put ourselves in a great place so when we do meet a companion, that person would be our partner. They wouldn't need to be our father or our mother. They wouldn't need to just build us up. They will be able to meet us where we are and we can move forward together. That doesn't mean we will be completely on the same level, but we can actually work forward to certain things. Like, we both have a foundation, and from there we can build. Have you built a solid foundation of who God calls you to be? Have you built a solid foundation of a relationship with God? Do you know what purpose that you have in this season? Like, your purpose, I feel like it changes depending on where you are and what you're doing. But in this season, have you accomplished the things that God is trying to get you to accomplish right now? What is your focus on? I was at a singles event, I think the end of last year or early this year. I don't necessarily remember. I just know it's cold outside because I had on boots. But during the event, he was saying how we don't take advantage of the blessing of being single. When it's time to go, everybody's ready to go. When it's time to eat, everybody ate. At night, when it's time to go to sleep, everybody's in the bed. I love to go out and have fun with my friends. Not out, but I like to go out and have fun. But I love to drive my own car. So when I'm ready to go, I can leave. If you got a spouse and they having a funky good time, you just got to let them have a funky good time for a little bit. You got to compromise by being like, I'll stay another hour, but I'm ready to go. And they got to be able to compromise too. But when you're single, you don't have to worry about that. When I'm ready to go, I can go. When I'm ready to eat at night, I can go and bust down on some A-Town wings up the street, or I can actually sit in here and cook dinner. Like, I have options. When it's time to go to bed, I don't have to worry about nobody waking me up. Like, if I hear a noise, it's an intruder, because I live by myself and it's Toby, right? So it's like, I don't have to worry about different things. I wish I remember his name, but it was one of the greatest things that I could have heard in my singleness to help me appreciate this moment a little bit more. So realign your focus with God and truly embrace this moment. Like, this is time that you won't get back if you do ever get married. You know what I'm saying? So embrace it, live in it, enjoy it, be free. Like realign your focus to God. In Hebrews 12, 1 and 2, it says, therefore we also, since we are surrounded by so great a cloud of witnesses, let us lay aside every weight and the sin which so easily ensnares us, and let us run with endurance the race that is set before us, looking unto Jesus, the author and finisher of our faith, who for the joy that was set before him endured the cross, despising the shame, and has sat down at the right hand of the throne of God. Oh my goodness. Since we are surrounded by so great a cloud of witnesses, We have a whole book of all of this great evidence of who God says that he is, who God is just through his actions. All the people around us who have great testimonies around this entire world, and we're surrendering to him. We're enduring this race to walk closer to him, to get closer to him, to serve him, to get in this purpose with him, to truly submit to whatever plan that God has. Use this time to look unto Jesus, the one who truly is the finisher and the author of our faith, the one who truly has everything in his hand. He has overcome this world, right? We have to realign our focus to what he wants. In order for anything that we desire to come to pass, it's going to have to be a point in this singleness where we just put everything else to the side and focus on the one and true God. And understand that by us doing that, we're not signing up for misery. Looking unto God does not come with misery. It says that he has plans for us to be prosperous. He don't have plans for us to be disastrous. That's what his word says. So if we actually lean into this moment of being single and being confident in it and being courageous in it, and knowing that by me surrendering to God and submitting to his plan, that we're not doing anything wrong. We're not leaning towards evil, like we're doing great things. We must understand that that comes with great reward. That makes God happy. He can do something with our surrender. He can do something with our submission if we truly just lean into it, right? So I'm just going to leave you all with that. Surrender to God. Realign your focus with God. After you realign your expectations and you figured out and ask God to expose some things about you to truly surrender to, give those things to God and then lay it at the altar, truly walking away knowing that God is going to do something with it. And then realign your focus to God. Allow him to do great work inside of you. Allow him to lead your life. Allow him to lead your expectations. He will reveal things to you. He will be the guide that you need. So once you get to that point, right now, just focus on your now. Right now, focus on this season and what's important, and allow him to do great work. So surrender your singleness. I'm going to wrap it up there. I will see y'all next week. The goal is Monday. We're going to keep aiming for Monday, but I promise y'all, I just want to give you great content. I don't want to give you anything mediocre or not aligned with God. But that's where I am right now in my singleness and surrendering it. So surrender daily, surrender often, just as often as you pick up your cross. And I wish you all the best. Have a great week. Have a great weekend. And just get some rest and work on surrendering to Christ. I love you all. Bye.